Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. This year I will be doing a farmhouse themed Christmas. All the supplies that I will be using will serve as a basis to show you how I put items together for my projects. I hope that they will serve as an inspiration to give you ideas on how you can put things together for your holiday decorating. And I hope that you will enjoy this whole series. And as always, to all of you, Merry Christmas. Alright, so today I am going to be preparing the ribbons and creating handmade bows for my Christmas tree. So let me show you my Christmas tree and then I will show you the supplies that I'm going to be using. Alright, this is my Christmas tree. I bought a new tree. This is a Slimlight pre-lit tree. It's 7 feet tall and I have wrapped a cloth on the bottom with some rope to make it look like a bag. I thought that was a really cute idea. And now I need to put some ribbons and bows, especially on that one little branch up there at the top. So this is before I decorated, and then you'll see it once I get some ribbons and bows on my tree. Alright everyone, I have my ribbons here that I'm going to be using on my tree. I have purchased 2 wider ribbons for wrapping around my tree, and then I have these 2.5-inch wide ribbons that I'm going to be using to create a tree that will go at the top of my tree and also for inside along the body of my tree. Now I have these 2 ribbons here. One is a burlap finish and one has just kind of like a flower sack finish, and again I have another one that's a burlap and another flower sack, but this one has like a glitter on it. Now these are going to go with the decor that I'm doing. You of course will choose the colors and the style of ribbons that you want to use. If you don't want to use wide ribbons like this, you can use a deco mesh instead to wrap around your tree, and you use the same method that I'm going to be using. Alright, now that I've shown you the ribbon that I'm going to be using for my bows, I'm going to show you just a bit of the embellishments that I probably will use on my bows. I've got these little cotton flowers. I'm just going to call it a cotton flower or cotton bloom. I'm going to use these. These were also from Hobby Lobby's fall collection, but it was 50% off early on, so I went ahead and I grabbed them, and I had this is a package of 12 pieces. I had another package which I've used, but I'm going to use a few of these, maybe not in all my bows, but I'm going to use some of those. I do have these bushes that I also got from Hobby Lobby. You can get your little bushes or greenery or whatever you want from the Dollar Tree. It all works just fine. I just happened to shop in there and I like the look of these, and these were all half off. These were a $13 bush, and I can't believe that I actually purchased this, but at half off it came out to $6.50 I believe, so I ended up buying 2 of them. Okay, and I've already used some branches off of this bush. I'll probably start off with this one because I really just want a few little leaves, or maybe, you know, a little stem like this, or a little pine cone to put in the center to embellish my bows. I also have these larger flowers. These are cream colored poinsettia, and these are also from a bush, and I have been cutting off from that, but I have these 3 here, and I think I've got more, but I'm going to use maybe 1 or 2, maybe all 3 on the bow that I want at the very top of my tree. And also I will be needing some chenille stems or floral wire to tie all of my bows. So you want to get chenille stems that match your ribbon, or if you're using green floral wire, then you don't have to worry about that because it won't be seen. But these are what chenille stems or pipe cleaners are called, and these are really nice and handy because the size is perfect for these bows that I'm going to make, and also to tie them on the branches of my tree. I'm going to be using wire cutters if I have to cut any of the chenille stems, or if I have to cut floral wire, then definitely we'll need wire cutters. For sure we will be needing some scissors to cut our ribbon and the ends of our ribbons. We're going to be needing something to measure, so I have a little straight ruler. I don't really use it when I'm making bows, but I'm going to show you for the purpose of the video. We're going to need some glue sticks and obviously a hot glue gun to adhere the embellishments onto our little bows. So let me go ahead and get started with making of the large bow that I want at the top of my tree. So let's get on to crafting. Okay, I'm going to start off by measuring out 6 yards, and I hope that I do have 6 yards in here. I will work with whatever I have. This is obviously not a yardstick or even this is 18 inches actually. So 18 inches is actually half a yard. So I'm going to see if I can get at least 12 counts on here. I'm not going to cut them out individually. All I'm doing is cutting the little edge here because it was kind of rough cut there. So I'm just trimming that off. So if I do this 12 times, that's 6 yards, okay? Okay, so now out of this ribbon, I want to make a bow that is going to be nested within the bow that I'm going to create from this ribbon. So I'm going to first measure, well, I've already measured this, but I want to now measure 3 yards out of this roll, and then the rest of it I'm going to use it for my smaller bows. So I'm just going to measure this on here to count 3 yards. So that's half, 1, half, 2, half, and 3. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and trim it and save this ribbon for my other bows. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start making this bow that's going to be nested within that larger bow. I'm going to get a chenille stem ready. So I'm not going to make any tails on this bow. All I'm going to do is just grab it from the end, just gather it, and I'm going to make a loop. And I want to make a 6-inch loop. Now, if you want to know how to do that, you can take a ruler and measure out 12 inches, which was about where I had it, maybe another ½ an inch, and then just bring it down, and that is a 6-inch loop. So then you just pinch them together, twist it, make another loop, and then you can bring it up and compare it to that other one, and if they're the same size, awesome. If not, go ahead and measure 12 inches and then gather it right there, pinch it, twist, and make another loop. And you're just going to continue doing that whether you want to be measuring and then making your loop, or if you just want to go ahead and make your loop and then compare it to the other one that's previously or right next to it. So like this one, I would compare it to that one. And then when I make this loop on this side, I would compare it to this one. So you don't want to fluff up your loops right now. You just want to keep them flat. So you just keep making loops and make them all the same size. And whatever we get out of 3 yards, that's how many loops this bow is going to have. Should be about 8 of them. Yep. Okay, there we go. We have 4 loops on each side. That's 8 loops all together. Now that we've got it all like this, we're going to go ahead and take a chenille stem and wrap around. Now this is a burlap ribbon, and it's really nice and stiff, and it pretty much stays in its shape, and you saw me just put it down. But obviously if you are working with just regular, like a regular soft fabricy ribbon, it's not going to hold, it's going to flop open. So make sure you keep holding it until you get your chenille stem and wrap it around. Okay, so now we're just going to twist, and what we're going to do is we're going to twist the bow because we want this to tighten into it rather than all this just twisting, and it won't become tight over here, but just twist this way. So we're just going to twist it a few times so we know it's nice and secure. And there we have our bow, and then we can go ahead and start separating our loops, opening them up at different positions. There we go, just like that. And then we can fluff them up and make them look pretty. I will have the link at the bottom on the description box. Right below the video, there is a description box where I write in a little description of the video, and I have some links on there to other videos, which are my handmade bows, and I did some for last Christmas. I did a video, and then I did one during spring of this year, so I could show you how to make handmade bows, and I gave you some ideas on the Christmas one as well as the spring. But anyway, you can look at those videos to get a better understanding on how to create these bows. And there you go. There's this one little bow that I've made out of burlap. It's going to go at the very top of my tree. But like I said, I want some of this ribbon to really be my bow, and I want this to be at behind this bow here. So let's go ahead and start making that. And then we're going to nestle this one, or nest that one behind this one. So obviously I want my loops to be bigger, but this is a really soft ribbon and it's not very firm. It's kind of floppy. So I'm hoping that I'm going to get it good. Actually, we could still use this. I don't need it anymore, but you just keep using this to measure. I'm going to start at the other end because the ribbon was not all folded into itself. It's actually prettier over here. So I'm going to go ahead and start making again the same loops, but this time I'm going to go 16 inches and do 8-inch loops. So instead of the 12 where we were doing this one, we're going to go 16, fold that in, and that makes an 8-inch loop right there. So I'm just going to keep doing that. The same on the other side. Now I said I didn't need tails coming out of this from this ribbon, but because I'm getting so many pretty loops here, I think that's nice. I don't need my bow to be so super big because I said my tree is not that wide at the top. I feel like this amount of loops is enough, and I've got 4, so I got 8. So then I've got some ribbon left over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and trim it off right here. There's two things you can do. You can trim it off or just grab the other end, and you don't have to worry about whether it's twisted or not. Just grab the other end, and since this one is going that way, we're going to grab this end going like it's coming out this way. We're going to grab this end, making sure there's enough slack there, and then we can just cut it over here to make our two tails. Or you could cut it off and then grab it in the middle and then bring it up here, you know, bring this up here and grab it there and then let the two ends hang. But we could just do it this way and then just cut it. Okay, so again, we're going to get a big piece of chenille, which is a whole 12 inches. We're not cutting our chenille like I've been doing for my other little crafts and other bows that I've been doing, because I need a nice big piece to make sure it holds on to all this fabric or all this ribbon. So now I'm just going to go, and here I'm going to just, actually I want to fold it in half. It doesn't have, I don't have to make sure that they are evenly length. If one ends up a little bit shorter than the other, that's fine. So now from the fold, I'm going to go up to the edge where the wire is and snip, and just make sure that, you know, I did snip it so that it is now separate. So now I've got two little tails, and then the tail ends have a little dovetail on them. Okay, so now I have this bow, and I'm going to separate the chenille like that, the tails, and then I'm going to go ahead and bring my loops around. And this ribbon, like I said, it's kind of floppy, so it's not going to make me big poofy stand-up bow, but it's good enough. Okay, look at that. That is pretty. I'm just going to open it up like that. I'm going to take this bow right here, and right where this is tied with the chenille, I'm going to bring that chenille from this bow behind, and then just tie it together, or wrap it together really well. You could take the ends from this other bow and then wrap the two bits from the chenilles together, and then this one. So now the ends of the chenille are good for tying together. They become just kind of a wider piece is what it is. So now we can tie that onto our tree with those ends, and here's a tail, here's another tail, and this is ready to put on our top of our tree, like so. Or I could take a poinsettia, and I'm going to go ahead and trim that with my wire cutters because it's really big, and I don't need all that, but I do want this leaf right here, so we're going to trim that as well. And we do have our hot glue ready, And I've got some, let's see, this one's the one that had already had some stems cut off. So I'm going to cut off this one bit. Put that back over there. I'm going to see these leaves here. Let's trim those off. Let's see. Let's pull them off. And then we can trim that as well. Pull that off, and we can trim this as well. I'll probably grab another pine cone. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to add some of these leaves into my bow. I'm going to put my poinsettia on there first, and then I can tuck any leaves underneath it. All right, we've got our glue gun right here. Just making sure our tails don't come over here into our glue. I'm going to put plenty of glue on there. And just glue it down. And make sure these petals, because they all tend to want to like go together, and then it looks like it's like the flower is bald on one side. So to keep it also from moving around, I can just glue a couple of the petals down onto the ribbon, just so it doesn't move around on me. And I can take the leaf of the flower underneath, glue it down, take some of these leaves, glue those down in there. Some of these holly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them a little bit more. Grab these two, and instead of gluing it behind the flower, I'm going to glue behind a loop of ribbon from the bow. Do the same on over here. I'll take this one leaf here, add it in there, and I can do some more. Let's get this one. Separate side over here. Let's see. Yeah, let's just put it right there. Okay, so I finished embellishing this bow with more leaves behind this other bow. Put them on these other loops, so it looks like they're also back behind the bow, not just behind the flower. And I think it looks really pretty like that. You don't have to do this, of course. I just feel like it's something that you could do extra on your bow to embellish it. If you don't want to use a flower, you can use ornaments or maybe a star, so that'll be at the top of your tree. You could wrap some little lights around it also as well before you put it on the top of your tree. This bow is complete. Here are my tails. They look really pretty. And here is the bow completed. This bow would also look great on a very, very special gift. Alright, so now I'm going to make the bows that are going to go in my tree. And I think I want to make about 6 or 8 bows. I haven't decided how many I'm going to really need on my tree. So I'm going to shoot for either 6 or 8. Okay, so I've got my chenille stems, and I've gone ahead and I've tried cutting them in half. So I've got little half pieces rather than 12 inches. I've got about 6 inches. Some of them are a little bit shorter. I think I had some pieces where I kind of miscalculated the middle, but that's okay. We're going to keep those to the side. I've got some little cotton blooms here, little flowers. I've got from the same bush. I've gone ahead and I've separated the little pine and the little pine cones, and some leaves here on this side as well. So for my bows that I'm going to put within my tree, I can make them multi-looped, but I have a very slim tree. Like I said, if it was a big full tree, I would make multi-loop bows, but I'm just going to make a 2-looped bow, which is just a regular bow. So I'm going to do about 30 inches for each. So here's 18 and another 12. That makes it about 30 inches. So like I said, I want about 6 or 8, and I want this about so big, and that's about right. Okay, so let's go ahead and cut more of these, and I'm just going to use the one piece of ribbon that I've already cut as my guide. So this is less than a yard. So if you had 6 or 8 yards to work with, then you have enough to make 6 or 8 bows. Or rather, you have more than enough. You could use the whole yard to do your bow. Okay, so I've cut 8 pieces of ribbon here. These are all 30 inches long. They could be 36 inches if you prefer that. I'm going to put that ribbon off to the side here. My scissors off to the side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these ribbon, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it over like this, and then just meet them so they're about the same length here, just like that. And then what I can do is just pinch it on one of them, bring it down, pinch it on the other, and bring it down, and then pinch it in the middle. So that makes a bow right there. Okay, I'll do it again so that it doesn't seem so complicated. So now I'm going to take a piece of chenille, wrap it around. Again, I'm going to twist the bow so it tightens towards the bow. And now I'm going to take these ends, fold them in half, do my little cuts, and there I have my little dovetails. And when I poof these up, I also pinch them in a little bit like that, give them that little look. It's almost like a little heart shaped right there when you push that center part in, and then I just pinch the wire so that it stays in that shape. And look what a pretty little rustic looking little bow I created. That's my little bow, and I've got the chenille stem on this other side where I can use to wrap onto a little branch on the tree, and then my bow will stay in place. So that's what I want to do with the rest of this. Create these little bows. What you can do also is you could just take your piece of ribbon, get the 2 ends together, fold them in half, cut your little dovetail so that they're all ready. Go ahead and prepare them all and do that. Here's another way you can also do this, is if you know where the middle is because you folded it, kind of mark it a little bit right there. Then bring these ends like that. Grab them all, pinch them, and then you just twist down your tails, pull them out like that. And I want the chenille stem at the front, coming to the back here, and twist it. Okay, so now I can pull out those little tails. Do the same thing. Shape my bows. There you go. Okay. I'll be back. I'm going to do all of them, and then you'll see the finished little bows, and then we'll do some little decorating or a little embellishing on them as well. Alright, here I've got 8 bows that I have completed, and they can be put on my tree just as they are, or they can be embellished a little bit more. I'm going to take 4 of these first. Let me move these out of the way a little bit, and I'm going to put a little bit of a cotton ball right on one of these, little cotton bloom, right in the middle, and glue that down. Okay, we're going to let that dry, but look how pretty that looks. I'm going to do 4 of them like that. There we go. I've got 4 with the little cotton right in the middle. And then the other 4 I want to do with these little pine bits. Now I've only got, let's see, I've got 3 pieces, but I do have another bush that I can cut some off. And then I've also got these little berries. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 with the these little leaves. Put these on here. 2 with, oh, this is kind of full, so I'll use that. And 2 with pine cones, and then these other 2. Let me trim that off. Yeah, these 2. I'm going to save that one for something else. These with some berries. And let me get my bush here and get another berry off of one of these stems. There we go, and use that one on that one. Okay, so now that I know what I'm going to use, make a little bed there. Put some glue down. I'm going to trim off this little, that little part there. Put one going in one direction, the other in the other, the other in the other, okay. And pull this off of the stem, and it doesn't want to come out, so let me go ahead and get my wire cutters to cut off this little bit here. There we go. And I can put glue on here and stick it on there because I don't know if that one's already dry. I've got a little fan going, so I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but I've got that going so it's dry my glue. And I'm just going to cover. And any little balls from the little berry thing that fly off, you can put a little tiny bit of glue on them and then glue them back in place. There we go. That's what that one would look like. This is also a nice bow for on top of a gift or to embellish like a stocking. There we go. Isn't that pretty? I think that looks so pretty. Now, these will have the stem of pine with a pine cone. Again, a little bed there. Enough glue to glue this down. And then enough glue on top of that to glue down our pine cone. Right there. Okay, so I've made 8 little bows to put on my tree. Take another look. Okay, before I go put them on the tree. All right, so now these are all ready along with my larger bow, and then of course I've got my other ribbon and the burlap that I want to wrap around my tree. So let's go ahead and get to doing that so that we can see what our tree looks like. All right, so I'm going to start with my first ribbon here that I have chosen. Now this is an 18-foot divided by 3. That's 6 yards. I think earlier I said it was 9 yards. I don't know what I was thinking, but it's actually 6 yards. So I need about 3 yards of ribbon to create a streamer. So really here I'm only going to be able to get 2 streamers out of this. So I'm just going to fold it in half, or you could go ahead and cut it and create 2. So I've gone ahead and done that, and I'm going to scrunch it up in the middle. And you could take a chenille stem, or you could use the same branch from a tree to wrap around here and hold it. But I'm going to go ahead and put on a chenille stem and just tie it. And then I'm going to go somewhere up here in the middle underneath this little pine cone here. I don't want to start way at the very top because I do have a bow that's going to go up there. So now I can go ahead and start making some loops. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go straight down, but I'm going to go kind of zigzag a little bit each time that I do this. Now this ribbon has a little bit of a glitter, but I've noticed it's really just on one side, so this is a one-sided ribbon. Sometimes you get ribbon that has, you know, 2 sides. Or if you're using a deco mesh, you can go ahead and twist it a little bit before you poof it and gather it and tuck it in, okay? But because I want the prettiness of this ribbon to show, I'm kind of gonna keep it to where you can see the glittery part. And I'm gonna go down maybe about 18 inches or so. And I'm going to gather it and then push it into my tree. Use a branch to kind of twist around that bit, and that'll hold it. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can get a chenille stem, just like we did up here, and then wrap it around the ribbon, and then tie it into a branch. Okay, so but I'm just going to go ahead and do it this way. I think this is working just fine. If I find a spot where I'm not close enough to a branch to grab it, then I'll grab a chenille. But I have a little branch right here. I'm going to twist that around it. So I'm going this way. Now I'm going to go back this way. And I don't have a lot of ribbon now. I don't want to hide the pine cone right here. Bring this one forward a little bit more through here. Let's see, there's this branch right there in the way. So now I'm going to use this little branch there to tie it. When I'm getting down to the very last portion, that's where I want to trim the edge of my ribbon. And this little part here has a little bit of a fold where it was rolled onto the roll of the cardboard. So I'm going to go ahead and trim that off, and I've got my scissors here ready for that. Excuse me. I'm just going to fold it in half. From the fold, go down to where this little fold edge where it got marked to create a nice dovetail like that. Can you see that against my top here? Okay, so I'm going to gather that down here as well. Bring it back and let that little ribbon kind of dangle off to the side. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, and we'll go to the burlap. Okay, I've gotten this side secured now. I actually like the way the pine from the branches on the tree look going across the ribbon. It actually makes it look a little bit prettier than if I had actually used a chenille, and I don't have to worry about hiding it because the pine looks really pretty. That looks really nice, and I'm out of breath. Okay, now I'm going to put this burlap. This is 10 yards, so I have tons of it to work with. And I kind of want to cut this into already cut, made streamers. But let's see. I want one going down the middle here, and then maybe a couple more kind of crisscrossing over everything. We could also wrap it around. So why don't we do that? But instead of like going around the tree, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here, kind of work my way down, almost meeting at the same spot in the back, and then coming back this way and then this way. And of course, I'm not going to go all the way across with it. I'm going to be tucking it in as I go. So I'm just letting you know that I'm going this way, going down, coming back, going downward, and so forth and so forth. And we'll see how much of this ribbon we actually need it. I'm not going to worry too much about the very back of the tree because it's not going to be seen. I have my window curtained up here. All I really do is open up my blinds a little bit so you'll be able to see the lights from outside, but you're not going to see any of the decorations. But anyone who's sitting here on the sides will be able to see the sides. So that's all I really want to make sure is covered. I'm going to take the end. I'm just going to let it roll off. And I'm not going to worry about the burlap because the burlap, the two sides are the same. Okay. I'm going to go at high point up here and tie it to one of these branches at the top. There we go. Usually my husband helps me with these things, but he doesn't want to be in the video, so I'm doing this. Okay, let's see. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and twist it a little bit. I don't mind this being twisted actually. And then grab it. And I'm going to go across it, continuing to twist. My dog's sniffing the ribbon and she thinks it's something she can bite into. So this is where we don't have to worry about, is our ribbon looking pretty? Is it all nice and showing on, pretty size showing on one, where you can see it? We're just going to twist it and just put it onto our tree. Almost to the back here. I'm going to come down a little bit. Twist it some more. And this is where mesh looks really beautiful done this way. It gives it a very ethereal or romantic look with a deco mesh. Okay, I'm coming down to the almost at the bottom of the tree, and I've still got a little bit left. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just kind of bring this around and see where it ends over here maybe. Toss it over to that side. I like the way it's looking. Yep. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a little adjusting. I'm going to bring this ribbon up a little bit more, and then this one a little bit more, because this one can go across at the bottom. So I think this one's okay. Let me just bring this one up a little bit more. There we go. And we can lift this one up. Maybe not so much. Right about right here. Yep. Just twist it. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Okay, then we can just tuck this in down under here and into the tree like that. And that is done. Now we want to put our little bows onto it, right about here. And you know what? I used up this whole ribbon, everything that I had left. Now they do have it in the Christmas, and in case they didn't have any more of it in the fall, but they did have more of it in the Christmas, and then the regular ribbon, they did have more of this burlappy ribbon. Okay. If I needed to get more, but I'm not going to do that. I think this is fine because I've already got all this ribbon going on it. I just want to put them on enough, just tight enough, because I have a little kitty cat, and somehow my little dog has gotten some interest in this burlap set, so I'm hoping that she's not going to want to bite them off my tree. Okay, that looks cute there. Let's see, I've got two more. I know I've got two on this side. I don't have two on this other side, so I've got a cotton one there, so I'm going to do the pine. Let's see. Right about here. And one more. Let's see. I think it looks really good like that. I'll go ahead and put it right here just for the heck of it. It's kind of close to this other one, but that's okay. Well, that's too close to this one. Okay, you know what? Haha. We'll put it down here somewhere because, you know, whoever's looking at it can see this pretty little bow right here. Okay, that's good. All right, so now I just need my big bow that goes up at the top. I really don't feel like pulling out a ladder, and I really don't feel like letting you see me struggling as I reach up there. So I think I'm going to get my husband to come in here and put it on here for me, and then I'll come back with the bow already on my tree. All right, so I'm back, and I actually went ahead and did it myself. I put the bow up on top of the tree. I did a little bit of stretching, but that's okay. I feel pretty good actually. So I'm gonna go ahead now and take these little tails of ribbon, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna kind of grab them here and there and just kind of intertwine them so that they're showing pretty on my tree here. Let's grab that and open up that little tail end so it looks pretty. going across this other ribbon. That looks so pretty. I love it. Maybe just let them dangle. You don't have to have the tails actually, you know, doing what I'm doing with them. And of course, if I had more ribbon, I would have either longer tails or way more tails and then tuck them in as well. I'm going to go ahead and bring this one across here. Just grab it here real quick. Pop it open like that. Just have that little tail kind of dangle off right here. I don't know whether there's a pine cone right here. And it's right next to this other one. I might just move it. Okay, so there we go. I put all the ribbon streamers on my tree, made a nice bow tree topper and some bows that are going within my tree. I'm going to give myself a big thumbs up. I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up. Leave a nice comment down below and let me know what you think. Are you going to be trying this? Maybe you already thought you would, but you didn't know how, so there you go. It's easy, a little bit of a workout, but you know what? It turns out beautiful no matter how you get your ribbon on there. And that's it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and I want to thank all of you who have already subscribed. Make sure you hit that little notification bell. I've got some ornaments to do, and then I'm going to be throwing in some little kid crafts also, so that will get our December started, and we'll see what we can do for that. And as always, share your social medias and enjoy.